Looking to stock up on high-quality Ayurvedic herbs? I've partnered with two of my trusted sources, Kerala Ayurveda and Gary and Son, to offer you 20% off their entire range of authentic products. From classical formulas to single herbs and seasonal must-haves, these are staples I use in my own practice. Use code Ojas Oasis for Kerala Ayurveda, Ojas Oasis 20 for Gary and Son. Links are in the show notes. Supporting your healing journey just got a little bit easier. In Ayurveda, nourishment isn't only about what we take in for the body, but also what we offer the heart. That's why we're honored to share Aura Cacao, a ceremonial grade cacao we've chosen as a dharmic partner for the Ojas Oasis community. Aura Cacao supports meditation, heart-opening rituals, and moments of conscious presence. As an exclusive gift for our listeners, use Ojas Oasis 20 for 20% off, and you'll find the link in the show notes. Welcome to Ojas Oasis, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets the modern being. I'm your host, Sasha Brashadsky, Ayurvedic doctor and guide on this journey into the heart of holistic wellness. Sheng Huang is a mind mapper and YouTuber, coaching professionals to discover their purpose and build meaningful momentum. Through his unique integration of mind mapping, first principles thinking, and project management techniques, Sheng has helped thousands around the world navigate complexity, sharpen their systems thinking, and move through professional and personal chaos with clarity. His videos have reached over 500,000 views, resonating with those seeking structure without losing soul. Speaking of soul, his is one of my favorites. As a dear friend of mine, I feel so grateful to be able to share this beautiful being with our Ojas Oasis community. In today's episode, we explore what it truly means to create from a place of alignment and devotion, two forces that, when combined, unlock a deeper, more sustainable form of success and fulfillment. Drawing inspiration from the timeless wisdom of the Tao Te Ching, this conversation invites you to reconsider how you approach creativity, purpose, and prosperity in both your personal and professional life. In this episode, we dive into the difference between forcing and allowing in the creative process, how devotion reshapes your relationship to work and outcomes, lessons from the Tao Te Ching on flow, effortlessness, and inner alignment, practical ways to apply systems thinking without losing intuition, and how to create from a place of grounded purpose rather than pressure. With a rich background spanning corporate strategy, product management, user operations, and venture capital, Sheng brings a multidimensional perspective to what it means to live and create intentionally in today's modern world. If you've been feeling the pull to slow down, realign, and create from a deeper place within, this conversation is for you. Let's get to our chat.
All right.
Okay, we're live.
We are live.
We're live. Well, today, first of all, I want to introduce you. I've been talking about you to many of my friends, near and far. Ever since I met you, Sheng, you've been like just so inspiring to me. Like truly, not just what you do, because what you do is super cool and unique and impressive, and how you do the things you do. But beyond what you do, which I will explain, or you can explain to the listeners, you behind the scenes, like it's funny, we were just filming the behind the scenes of the podcast and
Absolutely.
how I set up.
Yep.
But behind the scenes of what you do, you are so consistently like humble and loving and compassionate, and you care so much about what you create and put out into the world. And you take so much time to develop yourself so that what does come out of you is purified and coming from such an authentic place. And I have met many people. I've had many people on the show, and it's given me, and it also my clinical experience, meeting all types of people all over the world, my education experience, going to all different kinds of schools.
Yeah. You've lived.
I've
You've
lived.
traveled.
I've met humans. I've met a lot of humans, and I love y'all. All y'all. Sheng, you're like an exceptional human across the board. So I say that to like, yeah, it's really
so much to me. It's literally my birthday week. It just happened like 2 days ago. And what you just said means more to me than any physical gift. Because honestly, the greatest gift that us humans can give each other is to bear witness to each other's lives. And through that, derive some understanding and feel seen. And in this moment, I feel very, very seen. So thank you, Sasha.
Thank you, because you invite, I think you invite the best out of people by exemplifying it, not out of, I've never felt in the time that I've known you and been your friend, I've never felt this, any expectation. You give so much of your love and your generosity, of your knowledge, right? Like we sat down, we did a mind mapping session.
Yeah.
That was offered from such I could feel it was so, like you were like, I want to offer this to you. I want you to.
I literally want you to freaking be a freaking rock star. Like, Sasha, you're already a rock star, right? You have so many moving components. Everything is literally up in the air, and you're building a rocket on the fly as you're in midair. So as your friend, as just another human being witnessing you, all I want to see is you like freaking busting through the stratosphere, lower the low Earth orbit and into the space. That's where there is no more gravitational pull.
That means a lot to me. And I just, wow.
Nothing more would please me.
What a rare thing to meet someone that like sees the fullest potential in you. Very often, I think people are very caught up in their own ambitions, their own lives, the day-to-days, like the daily grind.
Yeah.
But to not only bear witness, but to literally lend someone your eyes and vision of what you see them, not only what they're capable of, but what they're going to do. And I see the same in you. I mean, I just don't see any limits to what you can do. I've just see you ran a marathon in sandals without training. And you were laughing and smiling and giggling all the whole time. Just like, you were so happy.
Yeah. It's, honestly, the Austin Marathon was a huge deal for me, because the last marathon that I had ran was 5 years ago. It was 2020 March, right before everything shut down, like the world put on ice. I was also going through a really bad breakup during that time. So it was really dark. And, going to the Napa Marathon, because I'm from California, there was no one there. I arrived, I got a hotel, I got up at 5 a.m. by myself. No one was waiting for me, cheering me on at the starting line, definitely not the finish line, And this time, fast forward 5 years, right? I have built such an amazing community that I love here in Austin, and having them show up, having you show up, that was amazing. That was, even when I was running through the city barefoot at every mile. I didn't look at my watch the entire time, by the way. There was no time that I was going for. The only pacing that I knew was that if I could not smile and cheer back to the crowds and reflect back their energy, I was running too fast at every single mile. Honestly, it got really hard after mile 22 and 23 and 24, 25, 26. But, it's like the harder it got, I was just like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, it's not like it's going to hurt. Like you get to a certain pain threshold.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't make much of a difference at that point.
Oh, for sure.
It's just so excruciating that you're just like, because I've run marathons, right?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
that's part of your identity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
it's previous.
No, I would still say it is, because
it makes you a warrior.
It does. Yeah. And the whole fact that I ran my first one at 18 as a freshman in college, and I also didn't train much. I think I had maybe 6 weeks, and I had just moved into my dorm. Okay. And I was just starting college, my first couple weeks away from home. And then I was like, well, my whole thing was, I was obsessed with living in New York City, and obsessed with, I had created a vision of who I wanted to be. And this successful career woman. Oh, even before that.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like well before that, I was always ambitious, I would say. Like I really just,
You're a woman with a vision.
yeah. And
on a mission.
On a mission.
With a vision on a mission.
Def on a mission. I was. And I had this vision of living in New York City and just being really fit and strong. And I just felt like I had this in me to do. And when I got to New York, it's, you know, I didn't realize Syracuse was like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive from New York City. I didn't know.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of,
you know, I was like, I'm in New York. I made it. Like
right. Yeah.
I'm in New York.
Yeah, exactly. People think of like Manhattan as New York.
Right.
And then it's like, actually, there's so much forest.
Big,
and,
there's upstate.
Oh, it's almost as long as like California, you know, it's crazy long. Yeah. So
at that time I just thought, okay, well, oh no, it's a 5 hour. How am I going to get there? Well, but I knew I wanted to run the New York Marathon when I was like 17. I read this book called Ultra Marathon Man by Dean Karnazes.
Okay. Right. One
summer. I think I read that book in like 3 or 4 days. And I just resonated with strength. It's all about the strength of your mind, whatever. And you end up, this can look so many ways. Running is one way to become a warrior.
Yes.
But anything you discipline yourself up to show up for consistently.
100%. Recovering from an injury. 100%. I mean, anything teaches you how to be a better character. Right? And often first of all, I don't judge, period. But if I were to judge, I wouldn't judge a person based on their current snapshot. It really is where they have come from, that delta in between. So this is why, like, on the first meeting with anybody, all I'm doing is asking questions and listening, emptying out my own being so I can contain them fully in my own being. Like whatever they're telling me, I am embodying so I can relive those experiences, those stories as they're coming out and being shared.
And I think there's something shamanic about that, honestly. There's something medicinal. I mean, you're doing it in a setting and in a context that is for this person's profession and their life path and their dharma.
Yeah.
And that is such a spiritual thing to do, to empty yourself, to be able to fully give someone the space to take up all the space and also really feel seen. Yeah. And the active listening that you're able to do also, that's all very, very deeply, again, the word that comes to me is you're a medicine man in a way, but you're putting it in the context of helping someone's mind organize itself and systematize and streamline and align, help them align with like a path of optimal productivity and optimal alignment, which that's the theme of our conversation today, how to align as a content creator, right? Yeah. Or as a creative.
As a creative.
Just actually, as a creative person.
As a creator.
Creator.
Because I honestly think that all of us are gifted with enormous creative capacities. And it's up to us to choose to whether or not to actually answer the muse's call and then put it into action. Because life is kind of like, inspiration is like a conveyor belt. It's like a sushi conveyor belt. Like it's going to come and then it's up to you to go out and grab it and then eat it and share that. Otherwise, it just goes to the next person.
100%. And when you said, when the muse calls, one of the first days that I had moved into the clinic, into this space, I remember the door was open. There was barely anything in here. But I was playing music. I was sitting and infusing the space with my Shakti, with my love, with my intention, with my just communion with God, and just, okay, I'm here. What would you like? How is this space supposed? What am I supposed? Because it was a rectangle. It was a small rectangle. I got in here, it was empty. It was 4 walls. I didn't know.
I saw.
You remember?
I saw the beginning? Yeah, 100%. She was like going, oh, maybe the couch will go here. Let me visualize this. But guys, like she's done so much amazing things with this space. It's unrecognizable at this point. You literally, I mean, a home is not a box, right? Like a building is just a box. That's all it is. That's what a room is. Until you pour your love into it, your vision into it, you put in the hard work of literally sanding down and like repainting everything, doesn't truly become a welcoming space. And now everybody who walks past your door is poking their head in and often coming in. I had the privilege of bearing witness to this yesterday, just sitting in this exact seat and then seeing people come through here and asking any random question about, oh, I got some stomach pains or I got some joint pains or whatever. And then Sasha just like leaps up and goes straight up and then was like, yeah, this is going to help. But in addition to that, you should probably also get some this and that. And I was like, you know what? Like, she's in her element. That was a joy to watch. You're like the village healer through and through. That was so fun to watch, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't know how Casa was before you.
Wow.
You're literally a staple at this point. We're only on the first week of April, folks. So it's like we just finished Q1. We just finished it for 3 months. And it's like, this place is unimaginable without you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's okay. Wow. That's an incredibly nourishing statement, a series of statements, and the love that I can actually feel from what you're saying is, and it means so much to my soul, because we're talking about alignment today, and hearing those words, there's like this bliss emanating from my core. That's what we all are. We're core at our, we're bliss at our core, I should say. We're bliss at our core. And when we are in alignment, I think people can feel it. People can see it and people can feel it. There's something just right about there's like a rightness to the way that we witness somebody doing, being, embodying. When people come through here, and my initial thing that I wanted to say was a bird flew in when I was in here alone in the very beginning, in the first couple of days. A bird flew in. Tiny, cute little bird. I was like, you got to be kidding me. What is it about the space that a bird would want to fly in? A bird, like a tiny bird, a cute little like fluff with wings, flew in and was singing to me, and was just, I'm like, this is the muse. This is the muse. This is it.
Yeah.
And it's acting on the call, but there's also a discipline to creativity and alignment. Like, yes, there's an ease. This feels, there's ease to this conversation. There's ease to this friendship. There's ease to what you do. When I see you doing what you do, I'm like, yeah, he's meant to do that. Like that. That's Sheng in his element. When you see what yes, there's ease, but there's still so much discipline.
Yeah.
To show up on days you don't want to show up, to push through the moments. And I know you're going through an entire,
totally.
What do we want to call it?
I mean, contraction phase, actually. And this is really important too, which is, I believe in both expansion phases in life, but as well as contraction phases. And that's literally part of nature, right? Like if you think about the seasons, you look at nature itself. I mean, spring, and then there's summer, there is autumn, and then there's winter. You can't always just have spring and summer. Like, just like how we humans need rest and sleep. And there's something to be said about winter being able to conserve energy as well as a mass density. Because during spring, like here in Austin, it's kind of crazy. Like all the leaves, within 1 week, it went from completely bare to like a rainforest. Plants can move when it's ready, when they feel like it's ready. But during an entire winter, they're conserving that energy, and they're letting go of all the expansion. Because if you think about leaves are just literally trees expanding, right? They are ready to flower, life, and all this stuff. But you wouldn't have this amount of like sporadic, what to humans look like it's sporadic. Nature is very intentional. They literally spent the last 3 to 4 months amassing that density. What you don't see on the branches is growing underneath in the soil. The roots are going deeper. They're permeating through the medium more. And when they have that density, when they feel like the air is right, the temperature is perfect, they'll just go ham on everything. So I think right now, this is what I mean by contraction. To human judgment, because we humans are very judgmental, we assign polarity to a lot of things. I just see this as a natural flow of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that most humans are disconnected from nature, living in cities. When we have 24/7 access to electricity, right, we're really broken from the rhythm of this planet.
Yes.
And because we are in this kind of artificial environment most of the time, we're kind of, how do I say it? It's almost like fighting the energy of the planet. We try to speed up when it's time, it's supposed to slow down. And you think about like this gravity, it's almost like fighting against gravity. How exhausting is that? Like, how much life force are we expending, are we wasting fighting against the flow of even this planet?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through a contraction period right now. And the easiest and most logical thing, actually, the most rational thing, is to just let it flow and let it sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it flow and let it sit.
Mm-hmm.
And the big question that I want to ask, well, first, let's talk about, I keep getting ahead of myself. I do this sometimes. I get excited. Like, I want to know, how do we align ourselves? But how would you explain what you do? How do you help people align?
Yeah. I am a mirror. I am a mirror for individuals, for organizations. And what a mirror does is reflecting back reality, right? And in order to do that, I have to clear my mind often. That's why I do a lot of journaling, a lot of meditation. It's just, to me, it's like a daily bath. So I can just wash off the dust of life. So when I go into a conversation with anyone, I'm like a blank slate, right? I'm just absorbing their being. And then what I do is I sometimes will map out the conversation in a mind map. All a mind map is a visual understanding of two people. For me, it's like drawing a portrait for a person or a team, right? This is what they're telling me. And I'm like drawing on this paper all these different elements. And it's reflective. It actually represents the way that thinking is, the way we think. Because you think about the way that thoughts come. They're not linear. They're not like a book, a novel you can, write or read line by line, paragraph by paragraph, chapter by chapter. It's very chaotic, actually. It's like solar flares instead, right? Sometimes one thought comes, another one's longer and becomes a narrative. So part of I would describe myself as both a mirror as well as a facilitator, because there are not all thoughts and thought trains are going to be high signal or important to this particular conversation. And part of being a mirror also is understanding what is the purpose, what is the why behind this conversation, this person's being. For example, Ojas Oasis, right? The first thing we actually spend a lot of time just around your why, right? What is the inspiration behind this? What keeps you going? And it's the same for a human being. And that's the key for alignment. We align to our purpose. And so often I see this, especially in teams, which is we go into like, what is it that we're building, how we're building it. Then we really get lost in the day-to-day operations. Before we know it, we've completely forgotten what the why looks like.
Lose the plot.
Exactly. And then we're just doing, So what I offer is an opportunity to stop doing, because I literally have this tattooed on my arm, which is music is the space between the notes.
Yeah.
So I provide space for people to pause so that we can examine, is this the song that you want to write? Is this the tune that you want to play? Otherwise, if we don't stop and start reflecting, life just, as well as our actions, become cacophony.
Feeling drained, stressed, or stuck in old patterns? Panchakarma is Ayurveda's ultimate reset, clearing toxins, balancing your doshas, and restoring your vitality from the inside out. At Soham Healing Resort, every detail is designed for your transformation. Personalized therapies, nourishing meals, and deep rest in a serene sanctuary. As an Ojas Oasis listener, you'll receive $500 off your Panchakarma retreat with code OJASOASISPK2025. These retreats book quickly and often far in advance, so don't wait to reserve your place today. Visit sohamhealing.com/panchakarma, and you'll also find the link and code waiting for you in the show notes. If you're studying Ayurveda or want to learn from the most respected teachers in integrative medicine, this is for you. The 2026 NAMA Conference, Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine, is a global virtual gathering to connect ancient and modern medical science. Join a transformative online gathering of Ayurvedic practitioners, integrative medicine providers, herbalists, researchers, scholars, and yoga therapists. Over 3 days, you will engage in dynamic panel discussions and interactive breakout sessions, covering clinical outcomes, emerging research, and how Ayurveda professionals can meet the moment in today's evolving healthcare landscape. Whether you're a seasoned clinician, wellness advocate, or yoga teacher, this conference is your chance to connect, learn, and shape the future of holistic health. Register today at ayurvedanama.org from May 1st to May 3rd, 2026, and secure your spot. Would you say that you have a systematized approach to every single person or organization, or is it custom like Ayurveda? There's like a general structure with which I'm like, of course I have to, we all have a human body, so we all have the same parts. Obviously there's going to be a slight difference between men and women, and also the age at which someone's at, and how new they are to Ayurveda. Like some things I'm going to have to explain a lot more to people.
Yes.
And some people are like, I know exactly. Yeah. Just
for sure. 100%.
Give me the herbs.
I think templates are really important, right? As much as I would like to be completely bespoke with every single person, at the end of the day, there are patterns across all humanity, all conversations, all organizations. So one of the most common, but also effective frameworks that I use is why, what, how, right? So these are literally framed as questions. It's, why are you doing what you're doing? Why does this team or organization exist? Why are you building this product, right? And then the next level is what? What is it that you're building? The tangible output, the tangible deliverables in order to deliver on this why. And then finally, how? How are we building this what, right? So if we go down that list from top to the bottom, because this is high level, this is like 10,000 foot strategic why level questions. And then you get down to the 5,000 foot question of what, and then the ground level of how. If we're able to go through all of that in that order, then you are inherently going to have alignment, essentially, right? So I do this over, like, let's say an hour or even a 2-3 day strategic retreat for a team.
Wow.
So it's extremely scalable because every single human construct or human being needs to answer those 3 questions.
We all do stuff.
We all do stuff, and we are building stuff, and we just need to know, essentially align it to the right why. Yes.
We're all also deep down looking for fulfillment.
Totally.
And prosperity. And I think the word prosperity has not been as that word feels like it's been on the shelf. Like when we talk about wealth, we talk about money, but we don't talk about prosperity.
Right. What does prosperity mean to you?
That's a great question. What does it mean to me? Prosperity to me, alignment is another great part of prosperity. To prosper to me means your life feels good.
Your life feels good.
And you feel good in your life. And you have figured out who you are, what you want, and you have committed via action, not just words, not just plans, but you've actually successfully executed on that decision based on knowing who you are and what you want. You have decided to stick to people, places, things, opportunities. You've said yes and you've said no, all in the name of realizing your highest potential and destiny. And you've been able to, we talk about shadow a lot, you and I, or I've heard amazing things about how you articulate integration of the shadow.
Yeah.
And so many of us are terrified of being found out that we're not perfect. Like,
oh, 100%.
You know, like,
oh, definitely.
What if they find out? And it's like, let me just spare you the curiosity here or the turmoil of not knowing I'm just not perfect. Right. So here you go. Yeah. Here it is. I get angry sometimes, right? Like, or like whatever.
We're
maybe
perfect and imperfect. We're literally perfectly imperfect.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like I have doubts, I have fears, and I have the same stuff that you've got going on, but for different reasons. Yeah. And I'm at I might be at a different stage of my consciousness and my mastery of my elements, but I studied for many, many years and I did a lot of inner work. Mm-hmm. And I like my shadow. Mm-hmm. Not only do I like my shadow, I'm like, I love her.
Yeah.
I love her too. Yeah. She's feisty. She's spicy. Some people say she's spicy. Mm-hmm. I think she's just, you know, she's not destructive, really. I mean, she'll destroy things that need to be destroyed, like illusion or delusion or misalignment.
Yeah.
Habits that need to be destroyed, habits or thought patterns that are outdated, software that's outdated.
Yes.
Things that need to end sometimes need some fire behind that, right? Mm-hmm. To execute that. But I'll say that prosperity to me is like, you're no longer doing things to prove something to anyone else. You're no longer aspiring to fill someone else's definition of who you're supposed to be and what success looks like.
Yeah.
You're actually now you're prospering because you've defined it and you've lived up to your own true nature, to bring Ayurveda into the conversation, because when you know what your true nature is and you align with it, the whole cosmos, the whole universe conspires truly to help you become the fullest expression.
Totally.
And then what that looks like to me is you're in good health.
Right.
Mentally and physically. Mm-hmm. You're strong. You're resilient. You have an ability to digest food well. You don't have symptoms in the body or the mind. You don't, it might come in the very like transient way that sometimes we get, like when we're traveling or when we go to a different restaurant we've never been to, and maybe some new thing like that. But for the most part, you feel like you go out into the world and you feel good on your feet in there, out there. And so, in a nutshell, what prosperity is: good health, continual honoring of your intentions with your life, and ability to obviously, I would say definitely ability to provide for yourself in your life and create a life that you love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everything you said really resonates with, by the way, I keep a copy of the Tao Te Ching.
Oh my gosh, of course you do.
Literally with me at all times, right?
Of course.
I mean, this thing is annotated like crazy at this point.
Yes!
I spent 90 days actually going through it the first time. I'm still going through it. I literally, refer to it like oracle cards. I put my hand on it whenever I have a deep question that I'm sitting with, essentially. And I go like, okay, I just randomly flip to a page. And the universe has always guided me to the right passage. And what you have described in terms of or defined prosperity is very much similar to the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action.
Non-doing,
there's a saying which is a sage doesn't necessarily have to lift a finger, yet 1,000 things are done. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that no effort is not expended. There's definitely still effort, work that goes into creating 1,000 things. And it's because sages are true to their nature. They're just doing what any animal would even do. Like a squirrel cannot be anything but a squirrel. Cat cannot be anything but a cat. They're just doing their thing. So in this respect, it's really going back to source, right? What is natural for you? And because we're talking about alignment the conversation on alignment cannot happen without answering the first question, which is, what is your why? What is your true nature? That self-awareness component must necessarily be there in order for you to align to something to begin with. Otherwise, like, what the hell are we aligning to? So, and the self-awareness is very hard earned often because, you know, we grow into this world as natural beings, but over time, through parenting, through society, through all the noise of life, that frequency gets really noisy, right? And there's a lot of work that needs to be put in through lived experience, through extracting, through reflecting, through just calming ourselves down, stillness enough, you know, so that, like, you know, when you shake up muddy water and stuff, you literally need to let it sit for a minute so that all the mud comes down so that the top is clear. That clarity is our true nature, but it does require that work, especially because modernity is very much about shaking things up constantly, constant motion, to the extent that stillness feels deeply, deeply uncomfortable. It is the hardest thing to do.
Wow.
There's another saying, which is the Tao necessarily moves opposite to what most people think. So in this current era of constant motion, 24/7 expected growth, stillness is the Tao because it is moving counter to what most people think. But that's also really what's necessary to gain that self-awareness, so you know what you're aligning yourself to. And this is where, Sasha, like, you know, when you say alignment, you're living that, right? Because you know your true nature and you're living through it. Every time I ask you, like, guys, I'm so surprised by how productive this woman is and her work ethic. And then her answer is always, oh, you know, it comes from above. It comes from, you know, the muse, God, you know, and you're the conduit. What that also means, folks, is that Sasha has in order to be a conduit, you have to remove blockages, right? And often the blockage for us is ego. It's what people will think of us when we do something, what we think of ourselves, the inner critic, or even overconfidence or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But when you remove that, when you clean out the pipes, then the water can actually flow.
Yes.
Effortlessly. And that's how, Sasha, you're doing 1,000 things at the moment, yet you still have energy, more energy to share.
And as you were speaking, I was also thinking about, because it's good to, even if our answer is always the same, it's still always good to be asked why.
Totally.
For us to remember and reconnect with it.
Yeah.
Even if it's the same answer every time, I think we need to always come back very consistently. And you could probably answer the question of how often do we need to come back to the why? But I do pretty much every day come to.
Oh, you have to.
I think for me, I definitely would say that I have to remember my why every day, because there is a point every day where I'm like, I want to be still, and I don't always feel like showing up. I don't always feel like showing up.
Totally. Yeah. You've told me that.
Right.
You know?
I mean, we get tired, right? Like
Absolutely.
the contraction calls to us too. And sometimes, you know, if I think about, I mean, you have been witness to my arrival here and the creation and the becoming and the building, and it continues to build. And some days I'm just like,
of course, we need rest.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Like, and what propels me every single day, the sustainability factor, is that I'm not relying on my mood or the feeling of what my body is telling me I can. Oh, can I do this on 6 hours of sleep? Can I do that? Like for a whole week straight, I got 6 hours of sleep. Is my brain, I'm like, maybe I can't, but God can. So removing the blockages of my own self doubt of what my human capacity is to allow infinite
Yep.
to flow through.
Yep. That's right.
And I do it out of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we need as many pure vessels of infinite love flowing into the planet right now.
How do you maintain? So there's basically two steps that we're starting to identify through this conversation. One is finding alignment in the first place, right? And that involves the prerequisite of self-awareness, first of all. And then the second step is how do you maintain alignment, right? Through realignment or through constant connection. How do you do it, Sasha? I would love to know.
What's the secret?
I'm sure other people would love to know as well.
How do I do it? Can you ask me one more time?
Yes. How do you, because we know that you have found alignment, right? But often the hard part after that is maintaining the alignment, and either through realignment, readjustment, right? Or constant connection to that source. Or maybe there's more, but I'm curious how you do it.
I do spend a lot of time alone.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Despite being here all the time.
And you see how, people would really describe me as an extrovert.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
right.
100%. Yeah. Especially compared to me.
Right.
I was like, damn, I don't know how you do this.
Yeah. But it's not that I don't know if I really buy that extrovert definite. I don't know. I think I have flavors of it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not shy. I know I can talk to anybody.
Totally.
But my ability to sustain and maintain alignment is because I know that when I go home each day, I know that I have to be with myself and hear my own voice and reconnect with my own internal voice and tend to my internal garden of how am I feeling? Do I feel tired and depleted? What can I do for myself? Do I need a bath tonight? Do I need to take a walk and listen to someone else's podcast that I really like a Tim Ferriss episode or a Ryan Holiday episode or a Joe Rogan episode? Those are three of my top favorite podcasts.
They're good ones.
Sometimes I really, really need like a good friend right now. I want to get ice cream with you, or, I want to be with, but I don't need a lot of anything, but I need a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. A little bit, I need a little bit of a 30-minute bath. I need about an hour of exercise, or really for me, it's a walk and some yoga every day. I'm happy. I'm happy with a walk out in nature, either with a friend, again, a good friend that we can talk about whatever, whether it's work or relationships or, I do shy away from politics most of the time because I think in the current climate, it can be a very intense and exhausting and depleting place to hover for too long, because the energy around it.
Work is focused on you. And at the end of the day, if we're able to heal the individual, the macro will also solve itself.
That's how I feel. And it's not that I don't care about politics or
we have our respective roles to play.
Exactly.
For sure.
And there's an intuition about what we should be when you are connected to the Tao.
Or Dharma.
Thank you. The Dharma.
I like using other people's language as well.
Dharma.
Translating.
I think from a young age, I will also share this. I think I've shared this before on the show. In the very, very beginning, when Aaron asked me, by the way, speaking of another language, sankalpa is the Sanskrit word for your core root seed intention or your why.
Yeah.
Right? So you talk about the why being so important. Your sankalpa will determine not only whether or not you will succeed, but your entire life. Your entire life, everything that you do is determined by your root intention of that action. So when you think about, I don't know how I got into this situation, how did all this happen? Wait a minute. Let's replay the tape. Let's rewind.
Right.
Why did you tell that person this?
Yeah.
Think about your true intention of creating all these different branches of the timeline
Mm.
And if you retrace your steps, you will realize that you created a karmic entanglement of some kind. And now you got to untangle. But you're in it so that you can figure out, oh, I'm supposed to act and make decisions always from a pure intention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very like monk-like way to live. I mean, it requires what you do, Sheng, with this polishing of the mirror regularly, and going out into the woods and cleansing yourself of technology. And not everyone, some people have responsibilities, daily responsibilities. I mean, you and I are single, no kids, not even a dog.
Yeah.
So
I got a cat.
You have a cat.
Cats are very self-sufficient. They clean themselves.
There you go.
Just it's like you water the plant and you feed a cat and then they're good, Occasionally clean out the poop. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity as adults to put a lot of that time, energy, and effort into our own care and into our own needs and connecting continually with ourselves and aligning ourselves. What we will talk about eventually is like when you get to that place where you're like, I'm aligned now, I want partnership. Now that's like, now we share it with somebody, or we build upon that. But without that foundation, a lot of the choices that people make are going to be out of alignment, including relationship, including what they're doing for work, including their daily habits. And then they wonder why they're not happy. And then they'll, instead of doing this type of work of reverse engineering their life, what will they do? They'll numb, they'll avoid, they'll distract, they'll become addicted to something, and they won't realize it until many, many, many years down the line. And the life, eventually we all expire out of this body. And so the point isn't to judge that journey, right? Because most people, that is the case. Unconscious action, reaping karmic ripples. And that it explains the current state of our planet, quite frankly. Like, why are there wars? Because there wouldn't be wars if we were consciously communicating, like nonviolent communication and compassion and meditation and reverence for the other sentient beings. And
it's interesting, actually. There's a saying in the Tao Te Ching, which is when words like kindness and justice are being uttered or thrown around, that means the kingdom is in disarray. And it's because it's not that kindness or justice are inherently bad things or harbingers of doom. It's just that when people have to name them rather than be them, we're already on the wrong path, essentially, right? And it's interesting if you think about like Bhutan or very simple, more simple countries, right? It's just like people are just being. They don't need to use kindness or love or justice. They just are, right? And whereas, let's say in the US, right, if there's a lot of protests going on and we're demanding justice, right, that means that's a sign that the kingdom is already in disarray. And that's kind of interesting too. What does that mean for our personal beings? So for me these days, rather than expressing, I think it's important to say, express, I love you, etc. Right. But it's another thing to just let the words go and let your being and let your actions speak for themselves. And this is where silence speaks volumes sometimes.
I will say between the Tao and Ayurvedic wisdom, I think honestly that this knowledge is how both of us are able to do what we do. These are our teachers. Absolutely. These are our guides.
Yeah.
Because had we learned this from the very beginning in school, I think we know that a lot of, well, no, we don't know, but we're grateful to have it now.
Oh, 100%.
And when you ask the question, I'm also, to go back to how are you maintaining and sustaining, and not just maintaining and sustaining, but growing.
Yeah.
Like I don't actually see it as like just a maintenance. I'm in a growth phase. I'm in an expansion phase. And what really helps is Ayurveda for me and the Tao, because I have the Tao on audiobook. I listen to it on my walks. For years, I've been doing this on repeat. When it's done playing, I just restart it again. And it's like rinse, lather, repeat, because I'm downloading it into my cells, 100%. Into my consciousness. And it's the Stephen Mitchell one that I listen to. It's just so beautiful. He reads it so slowly. And so all of these, as I hold this book, I'm like, yeah, I've been listening to, this is like my soundtrack. Right. And it reminds me so much of Ayurveda, and I'm able to maintain, because I've learned my nature through this Ayurvedic framework, this wisdom, science. It's science of what are my parts? What are my elementals? What are my karmic? What did I inherit? What's mine, and is just like ancestral stuff? How much of what's going on is self-created, and so I like to just study myself, quite frankly. I will also study myself via Vedic astrology. I know human design is something that's really, really popular now, but I really prefer the depth of Jyotish because it is incredibly detailed. And we are detailed. We are complex creatures.
Absolutely. Yeah.
According to right now, like Mars and Saturn are opposing. That's going to impact me differently than you, differently than someone else. But given all of this information, we can make decisions. We can make decisions about when we travel, based on the moon, based on what Mercury's doing. Is it in retrograde? We can make decisions about when to start dating again, when to start opening that chapter back up. You don't want to start dating again when Venus is in duress, the planet Venus.
I mean, you essentially lean on the stars on when to move in even.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You remember that, right?
Yeah. You did an entire ritual before, setting down even your bed.
Signing the lease.
Yeah.
Moving the furniture in, really connecting. So
that's also actually a different type of alignment, which is aligning to the cosmos,
cosmic
to the
alignment.
Forces. It's very similar to what I was just saying regarding to being aligned to the seasons and learning from the seasons, right? It's like not fighting the gravitational force, essentially, of planetary forces. And you're talking about cosmic forces.
And how they interact.
Yeah.
All of us are mirrors of out there, as above, so below. We're all just a bunch of particles.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Just like
whether or not we're aware of it. The only problem with modernity is that we are a lot of us are disconnected from it. Yet we're still connected. We're still tied to it. We're just mentally not tied.
Distracted. We're preoccupied.
For sure. Yeah. We're not even aware of it anymore. But it's still tugging on us, whether or not we like it or not. So might as well learn to read the tea leaves.
Let me ask you the big question of today. I think today's big question is, how does a creator, any creator, doesn't matter what they're creating, how would you help them stay aligned? How can they stay aligned to their inspiration, their muse, their why? You can answer that in terms of like how you do it, or how the general structure or the wisdom that you have gathered and know deep down, this is the way, this is the path.
If I had to really break it down, it would be to, first of all, have the courage to start living not just on autopilot, not based on everything that has been handed to you over the past couple of decades or however it is. I mean, I grew up from a Asian household, very strict at that, and I'll consider myself what I would call a toothpaste kid. Think about toothpaste tubes, right? They're designed to literally have uniform droplets of toothpaste, and that's it. Like very uniform every single time. So growing up, as a Chinese American, it's like, I was bred for UC Berkeley and got into their business school, graduated, and then eventually went to MBA, worked in tech, right? These are all like the boxes checked. At the same time, life was fortunate in kicking me to the curb, quite a few times where I got laid off 1 year after entering into professional world, you know, and because of going into a startup. That was my first like layoff ever.
Wow.
And that was 8-month endeavor of collecting unemployment checks. I was in debt because I had just bought a house. Had a big ass mortgage. And that period to this day is still like the best thing to ever happen to me professionally, because I had suffered ego death, because it's like, well, now, like, you know, all these bright ideas that you want to be like, you know, McKinsey consultant and stuff like that, we can flush that down the drain because you're unemployed. You're like, you've already hit the lowest point as a professional, right? And that period inoculated me against professional failure, right? And then life has handed me a lot of personal challenges as well, where the last 3 years was defined by death, divorce, and depression. So, and through every single one of these trials, they have served to soften me. And there's something to be said about the strengthening. Now, these days, I really do believe that our weaknesses are our strengths. They are what allows us to soften rather than harden, so that we don't break under pressure. We're able to flow through life's challenges. And we flow through anger. We flow through sadness. We deal with surprise the same way, right? Water will dissolve the hardest materials in this world. So I would say it's a very long-winded way to say that if you are truly open and living, life will serve you up challenges. The most important thing is not to run away, is to see them truly as opportunities, to really turn the reflection of that mirror around and ask yourself, how is what I'm reacting to life's challenges and opportunities, actually both, what does that tell me about myself, right? If I'm reacting poorly, let's say, to a friend's disappointment in me, what does that say about myself? It's not her disappointment. I mean, that's one thing, you know, obviously we're addressing that, but my reactions tells volumes about who I am and what kind of work do I still need to do as well. Right. As well as dealing with triumphs. Am I getting big in my head when I like hit a big milestone or hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube or something? Is it letting it get to my head? Because that ego will also kick us off of that alignment train where before you know, you're kind of off the rails, and that guidance becomes the masses, not internal guidance. It's blocked, you know, it's, you know, derailed essentially. So this is really key in terms of equanimity. All equanimity is both the negatives and positives. It's not equanimous in the true Stoic sense where you're not being moved. You're still moved. Like, I live to be moved these days. It's not just analytical. If I'm crying in a conversation, it's not out of sadness. It's literally because I feel like my heart, the human side of me, coming through, and that's beautiful, right? And I think often we need to use that more as a guidance as well, you know. So it's not really so much of a framework. I mean, if you want frameworks, go onto my YouTube. I teach tons of frameworks, different mind mapping templates, different journaling reflection practices that you can learn the tactical components. But I can teach you the best systems, the best tactics, the best practices. But that's not going to matter jack shit if you are not emotionally ready to do the hard work and go through the muck. And that takes a lot of courage.
Wow. And emotional readiness is not something that, do you learn that in business school?
No, hell no. No. You learn through that being knocked out by life multiple times, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do about this? You know?
Because that's the thing. In practice, having a business means even when things in your personal life are challenging, you're still able to show up, and that or change, you know, adapt to the change or you just have to like, that resilience is so fundamental. That's why I look at kids now, right? And it's wild.
Yeah.
37, you're 38. Like we just had our birthdays and it's like, I don't know what happened, but I feel like I'm 22. Aries babies. Yeah. Well, at least in Western astrology. That's right. But Aries sun technically and Leo rising for me. Right. But what do you know your rising sign?
Sagittarius.
Okay, cool. I'm Sagittarius moon in Western. Oh, wow. So
okay.
we just, we really get each other. In other words, we're very fiery people, very passionate. Yeah. So I think we also stoke each other's fire too. We're like, yeah, get it. But yeah, I think that resilience, we need to really start the young generation, whoever's listening to this that are like that you're teens. Hopefully I have some teenage Ayurveda fanatics out there, people that are like, I want to maybe, especially now with AI, it's changing. I mean, everything is, first it was like COVID was the great disruptor. Now it's AI is the great disruptor. And
the main difference
happening
is, COVID was relatively temporary, short-lived, but AI is literally here to stay.
Oh yeah.
And it's, as humans, we know that it's the agitation. Not only does it have to be sharp, it has to be sustained in order for us to change. The only reason why humans change is because the pain of not changing outweighs
the pain of changing. Mm-hmm.
So this is where I would even say that AI is like a greater catalyst than even the pandemic.
Yeah, true.
It's here to stay.
True. I think COVID though did awaken something about, wait a minute. Sure. Wait, right. It's like, wait a minute, we do need people. Yeah. Like we don't do well in isolation, which kind of in some ways prepared us for like, okay, do we want to be in a relationship with our phone?
Right.
Or do we need human? Yeah. And that was actually, not to go on another tangent about something we were talking about earlier, but
we love
what has sustained me is my friendships.
Yeah.
Full stop. My friendships. Holy crap. Anuradha moon in Vedic astrology. So for those listening that know what that means, Anuradha is the moon star that is ruled by the deity. I think her name is Mitra, which is the deity or the goddess of friendship, meaning that I'm a devotional friend and I'm a devotional, Vaidya, Ayurvedic doctor. I'm devotional. I see everything that I'm doing. And even in the way that I work with my patients or conduct, facilitate the show, the podcast and these conversations, I think about it like, I am your friend. I am a universal friend to all. I'm a friend to the animals. I'm a friend to, I don't know if I would say I'm a friend to God. I think the way that my relationship is with God is I'm like a devoted wife to God. But that's what Anuradha was, or, in the Hindu tradition, Anuradha is a devoted, loyal wife to God. Or I guess, is it Anuradha? Anyway, there's somebody that she's devoted to, but it doesn't, thousands and thousands and thousands of years of the same devotional service. And I think
that's a huge one actually, because the word devotion, we can go off on a complete tangent on that. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you what devotion means to you and how you show up with that.
Yes.
And also with a quick aside is when I did some of the strategic sessions for Casa de Luz, right, with Wayo in particular, he described his relationship with Casa, which is one of his creations, as devotion, right? So that word really stuck with me. And this is a man who's devoted 30, 40 years of his life, basically half of his life, to this place, this project, and what it stands for.
He's here every single day.
Yeah, exactly. And he lives and breathes this place. Like, I'm like, yo, Wayo, if I can look like you, have your energy at 81 years old and just eat casa food all the time, like that's the best freaking poster child you can have, So he described it as devotion. I'm curious what devotion means to you.
Thank you for asking. That's probably might be one of my favorite questions other than what is Ayurveda?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They go hand in hand together.
They do. Devotion is no matter what, I'm running to you. You need me. No matter what. no matter what. So it's like loyalty. It's like that. It's like dependability and reliability, but it's deeper because devotion is unmoving. It's unwavering. It is coming from what I feel to be the deepest form or expression of love. And it's a lot of things that you don't want to do over a long period of time.
Right. Yeah.
And a good example of that would be for 8 years, I went back to school to study Ayurveda after I had already worked really hard. Yeah. I had a really, stream kind of like similar to you. Child of immigrants, Russian, Jewish, grew up with the conditioning that I needed to have material, it had to look a certain way materially for me to be anything valuable whatsoever. Sure, and that I needed to have, certain grades and especially athletically, I think my father was very, I had a natural, I leaned into I always loved sports. I've always been an athlete, but there was a real pressure to live up to something that I think he himself wanted to be, especially through tennis.
Right.
Which was
so specific.
Right. It was so specific. So typical Russian.
Not
it's
only
like
do you
Russians
have to
and
be,
their freaking tennis.
Athletic, like world class in tennis.
Yeah. Take me to Wimbledon one day. It was like,
jeez.
So it was really,
the expectations.
The expectations were high. And I was always expected to either marry a wealthy man. Because again, we're talking about old school Russian, this is how it was back there. Or I was supposed to be I don't know. And they didn't know how, but that was the expectation of, we brought you to this country. This is the country where that can happen. And don't put all of our sacrifice
100% to waste. Exactly. Don't let us down.
So the guilt train.
The guilt.
The guilt train well, right?
100%. Yeah.
The whole immigrants, child of immigrant story in the United States. I hope there's a lot of us that can support one another in transcending that narrative around what the expectation is supposed to be, because actually being like just being born into that, it's a very heavy, very, very, very heavy initial start to a life as a child.
Totally.
Very heavy.
Oh, I'm still dealing with
burden.
Like literally my current practice, because I draw symbols for, all of my journal entries is freaking guilt.
Whoa.
This is the current one. I literally just started on April 6th, this new insert on Monday.
This is beautiful.
Yeah. And it's part of the shadow work as well, right? Recognizing what guilt feels like for me. And if you look at the symbol, guilt is weighing down. So the center of gravity is low. At the end of that, there's an I. Because with guilt, you always feel like you're being watched, you're being judged. So it's not only is it weight, it's also that feeling of constantly observed. It could be internal, external, whatever it is.
This is absolutely beautiful. I'm showing this to the camera. Wow.
So no, I 100% can relate to guilt. Yeah.
So that was one of the blocks. That's a block for us, as that's something we have in common.
One of the obstacles to alignment.
And that can look different for you don't have to be a child of immigrants to have that.
Yep.
It could come in many different forms, but I don't even remember the reason why I went down that path of
devotion.
Devotion. Okay, so I loved my dad, so I wanted to make him happy. So in the beginning of my life, it was like devoted to because my dad was like, don't you want to make your dad proud and happy? And I was like, of course I do. What else is there in this universe?
Who wants to be a bad daughter?
My father and mother are right. Like of course you're the ones who feed me and clothe me and take me to school and determine whether I can go anywhere and like do anything. So of course, like my survival and my happiness depend on how you treat me and how you take care of me and love me.
Wired.
Yeah. So of course, so much of the beginning of my life was earning their attention and earning their love and earning their respect and proving that I was worthy of these things. And then, you get out there in the world and you actually start just like you achieving and checking off the boxes. Mm-hmm. And then each night you go to, something starts to happen though, because you were like, I thought after all these checked boxes, something was supposed to click. A triumph. You're supposed to realize some kind of internal triumph and victory internally. And when that doesn't happen after all that work.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, that emptiness is still there, or something is still not quite feeling at all. Like you didn't, so devotion to me, it's a very long-winded answer, but my journey has been knowing deep down that I have this devotional nature, but I wasn't sure what to devote it to yet. But because God was a consistent presence in my life from a young age, at some point I started surrendering all the things that I thought I wanted. And I started asking God, what do you want me to do?
Yes.
Because I didn't know.
Yes.
And once I literally began asking, what kind of woman do you want me to be, God?
That's right. So very related to devotion is surrender. Mm-hmm. Right. And these concepts, these ideas, these feelings are really all tied together, because I believe that you can't have true devotion without surrender. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, how can a person truly devote themselves to a cause, to a concept, to an idea for decades, really, without surrendering? Mm-hmm. Because there's that saying, which is, a person doesn't go into the same river twice, for it's not the same person, it's not the same river, right? Change is constantly happening. Change is really the only constant. Mm-hmm. So if we don't surrender, then you're fighting against so many of these forces of change. You can't even fathom, essentially. Mm. So when you say devotion, there's that element of surrendering to whatever it is that God has put in front of you, and part of that is also related to surrender is the dissolution of one's ego as well. So it's all connected with that.
And I will say too that I love that you continue to bring up the point of the modernity. Like, what is the need of the hour of the modern world that we're living in? And of course, we want these podcasts to be evergreen, but in the year 2026, we are at the very early stage of AI. It was just birthed very, very recently, but it is growing like a freaking weed all over. Like, it's just, it is off to the races, and it's going to change in the next year, in the next 2. I can't even imagine in 5, like in 10. We don't know. We can't. Even people that work in AI are like, I don't know, Pandora's out of the box.
100%.
She's gonna decide now for us what. But
well, we went on devotion, and then we added. I tacked on surrender. Off of what you were saying, and we were riffing off of surrender. And I think part of surrender is because change is constantly happening. And I think you started bringing up AI as an example of that crazy
change and the need of the hour and answering the need of the hour. Yes. So devotion, there's a cause, there's a mission. That's really, when I think of what is devotion to me, there is some mission or purpose or cause that you're serving that is not about you.
No.
That's devotion, where you get nothing out of it. I have been doing this podcast for 4 years, and I studied Ayurveda for 8. And that has been my greatest gift to the world, is leaving everything behind, making the big sacrifice of leaving my previous career, everything I had worked for, the comforts of that, all that brought me, the identity that was acceptable by my parents and by society, and then becoming a woman who was going to stay decidedly single and not make her life about, okay, I need to like breed right now because I'm in that biological stage. I need to be a wife and a mom, and I need to have a house, and I need to have a certain car, and I need to, right? It's like there's a painting of what we in the West have decided it's supposed to look like to be prosperous, and you made it and you did something, you know, with your life.
Yeah, we're such disappointments.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I'm proud of us.
We should all practice to be a disappointment.
Yes. May we all disappoint all the expectations.
Actually, exactly. You know, if you don't use the muscle of disappointment, folks, you're going to lose it. So you might as well keep on disappointing.
So the devotion is to something that does not give you the recognition. It's like, and I really think of the planet Saturn when I need to really give credit to Saturn here, because Saturn delays, but he does not deny. He delays.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Builds character.
Yes.
Yeah. Still give you what you want, but not on your timing, but on something else.
But here's the thing. You're also not supposed to necessarily know what you're being prepared to do.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to have faith, which is another word. It's another part of devotion.
It is. Faith,
surrender, devotion.
Yep.
But I think devotion is so romantic because it's like...
Oh, it's like being devoted wife. This is so important. I mean, this entire thread of devotion was inspired literally when I caught on to the spirit of when you were talking about Vedic astrology and mythology, essentially, right? And that you see your relationship with God as that of a devoted wife. That's why I asked you what devotion means for you.
Yes.
Because it's all related to your dedication to Ayurvedic medicine too.
It's action too. I will say there's been so much work, you know, like so much work. Just when I think about my life, like if I was to, you know, do a rewind, close my eyes, play it back, let's watch the movie of my life, I would, yes, devotion, but like, what is the metric of that? How do we measure devotion?
You know, it's interesting. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot, because so much of the expectations put on me is measurable, right? It's quantifiable. It's like, you know, how much money you're making, how much, you know, how many followers you've got, or all the things. It's only, even like, you know, what age did you have a kid or a family or something? These are all quantifiable metric components. And in this current chapter of contraction, is what I'm realizing is I'm happiest when I lean into presence versus performance, because performance is measurable, right? Whereas presence is just, you are this right now. There is no past or future. It's literally presence. So if maybe there's something there with devotion as well. If you're being devoted, then that's all that matters, essentially, at any given moment. And it's not really because if we have to measure something, that means we are expecting the world to see it, right? And so much of the most important things in life, the world will never see. So much of the growth happens underneath the soil, all the roots that permeates. We just see a few twigs and some leaves, and that's it. But there's a vast world that's all interconnected at the root system, at the root level. And part of that devotion is actually not uprooting all of that. Because once you show roots, what happens to roots, to plants? They freaking die. So I think part of devotion is working regardless of the light.
Regardless of anyone ever knowing that you're devoted.
Exactly.
It's not your business to be understood. Actually, it's like none of your business for other people to see It feels great. Sure does.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my gosh.
I acknowledge the human part, guys.
Hi, we are
ego is still alive and strong.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with it every single day, but it's also not an enemy. I mean, I've accepted. This is part of shadow work and integration is like, once I recognize the ego, it's like, it's still part of me.
Yes.
The last chapter was literally called Black Wolf. And I named my Black Wolf Cerberus. Mm-hmm. And the last entry of that insert, I decided to take away the name Cerberus and reabsorb my Black Wolf back into me. Mm. And the reason for that is I asked myself, why did I not give a name to my white wolf? Mm. And it's because I already accept my white wolf. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be transcendent, the best versions of themselves. But I felt deeply uncomfortable with my black wolf that I needed to give it a name and put it at arm's length so that I can examine its true nature, right? But in order to truly learn to love it, I had to dissolve its name and pull it back into myself. So now my black wolf is just my black wolf, my, whatever it is, guilt, ego, narcissism.
Wow.
But it's also part of me. It has no name because it is me.
That sounds like a major surgical procedure.
Oh, all this work it's essentially, it's essentially doing open heart surgery on yourself while being awake.
Mm-hmm. And feeling it.
But again,
not knowing if you're going to survive.
No, it's deeply uncertain. But it's one of these things where the pain of not changing outweighs the pain of the change.
Right.
Right. And I've stayed static and let the pain of not changing really take over my life too many times to count. And I'm just like, no, cool. When's the change happening? I'm feeling a lot. Let's go for this ride. Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that feels like devotion. The willingness to endure. Isn't that devotion?
It is. It's also faith, because we don't know how this story is going to pan out.
We don't know how it ends.
No,
we don't.
We don't.
We don't even really know how it started.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
But it's also not blind faith, right? Because I think both you and I have lived enough, closed enough feedback loops to know that this surrender, this devotion does lead to something profoundly beautiful, something that neither of us can have ever expected. And when you close enough of those feedback loops, first of all, when you're open enough to do that and courageous enough to do that, that faith becomes almost habitual. And this is where, and all habits are just neural pathway shortcuts to a behavior that we want more of, right? So your faith becomes habitual, but not blind faith, but faith literally informed, battle-tested in the field of life. Then it is true faith. Mm-hmm. It is the faith that leads to personal truths. That this is why we journal. This is why we pause. This is why we meditate, so that we can wash off the dust of life and continue to remember what those personal truths are, because they're so hard earned.
And I can't help but also think about this quote that I've mentioned a couple times on the podcast from a teacher in India who said, "Staying power is deserving power." Because anyone can do hard things in short spurts, but the longevity of it, the legs, we're marathon runners, and we're in it for the long haul. That's devotion. There is no we're not keeping score of how much we've served. That's actually something that I think it does transcend metrics. Because it's so pure. Devotion, the word devotion itself, bhakti in Sanskrit, it's called bhakti. It's endless, and it's the deepest, it's a bottomless ocean, truly infinite bottomless ocean of love. Mm-hmm. And Wayo, founder of Costaluz, he's able to do what he does because, the nature of it is incredibly, what's the opposite of transactional? Like
I would say altruistic.
Altruistic.
That's not about you.
Right. But even the word altruistic kind of sounds like an ego kind of like, I am altruistic, I'm charitable, I'm da-da-da. It's like, it's actually, it's such a deep.
We kind of ruined as a society.
I know we ruined that word, didn't we? We did. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But when we devote ourselves, it's if you want to get on the devotional boat, just know that you're getting on a boat that you have to be willing to disappear forever and ever and ever on that boat. It's a very lonely path being a devotional warrior of high service, of high contribution. And I know deep down what I'm doing is sometimes, I just know I'm not supposed to know quite the full. It's like, my job, my role in this, from what I've gathered from the divine when I'm in my stillness and in my meditations, is I just keep watering the soil. That's my job. I don't know what's growing here, but
just show up.
I've been showing up because I want everyone to have trees and food and shelter and I love life. I think we're in a very challenging time in the human timeline. And for those of us who are in a physical and spiritual, mental, emotional readiness and willingness to take all the things that we are naturally good at, whatever that may be, and use it for the betterment or in some ways in the saving of the ship. I can't think of a better way to define devotion than that. It's like, here's my life. Here it is. My life is here to serve the saving of life, the saving of all of life, not just human life, but by helping to save human life, quality of it, longevity of it, purity of it, connection to nature, all this, the knowledge of life. Ayurveda means the knowledge of life. What we need the knowledge of life in order to align with it. We need the knowledge of ourselves in order to align with ourselves. Without knowledge, there's no prosperity. Just to begin to take all the pieces and begin to you see how it's all just, it's so much more than, the world needs holistic medicine or the world needs integrative medicine. It's actually the world needs integrated consciousness, right? But before integration is a lonely, very, very lonely, but very, wouldn't you say, even after all you've been through, and I know you've been through hell and back and a couple times, I as well. And you say, even after all that you've been through, you're like, actually, that was very much the best educate, right? Worthwhile.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, blessing even.
All I'm trying to be these days, in the Taoist, another saying, which is the simplicity of a block of wood. A block of wood is natural, right? And it could be made into 1,000 tools downstream, but a tool cannot be made back into a block of wood. So I'd rather be a block of wood in its source and simplicity and true to my nature, rather than the downstream tool, because I can be whatever I want. And I think that's the beauty of being a human being, is that we get to choose. We are the narrative species. We're Homo narratus. And the narratives that we tell ourselves and the way we tap into our self-awareness to understand our own natures, that is that recursive cognitive understanding. And it's interesting. It's knowledge, but also it's not, because what is the point of knowledge if we cannot be? Right. Knowledge at some point, it becomes a curse of knowledge. Accumulating too much. There's another saying in Taoism which is sages learn in order to lose. Actually, we lose and lose until we don't have to do anything. And when we don't do anything, nothing becomes not done.
Exactly.
So in this respect, these days, I used to go into, I started YouTube back in March of 2020 because I wanted to do my part during the pandemic, peak chaos and stuff, and share mind mapping as a tool to organize people's chaos during a time of, great
chaos
suffering
and uncertainty
right? But at the same time, it's also a reflection of my savior complex. And these days I recognize this part about me, and there's white wolf parts of it, and then there's black wolf parts of it, right? And it's always a duality. It's, to me these days, it's not black versus evil or black versus white or evil versus is good. they're two sides of the same coin. They're if you're truly integrated with it. And these days, it's not like I'm trying to save anyone. If I am just being here and I'm just sitting with someone, or if I'm creating content that is just sharing what I do, my being, my presence, and capturing that, I think this is what artists do, which is we capture lightning in a bottle. These are like split second inspirations or things that have like, really lit up our world. And we capture that in a bottle. So we get to serve that up and share that with the rest of the world. And I'm not trying to save anyone anymore. And there's another thing, which is if you don't try to save anyone, no one
needs to be saved.
No one needs to be saved. No one is even left unsaved. Actually, people can only save themselves. And we are just living. The best way to save people is to live your own best life. That's it. Be a block of wood. And
then from there, you can create
endless permutations of it. We can be whatever we want in this lifetime. We can live several lifetimes in one lifetime. We already have. And that's proof of that. And that being, I would even argue, Sasha, that people listen to your podcast, not necessarily just because of the knowledge you share, but it's your being. No one in their right minds would necessarily like binge watch just because of the knowledge. We have ChatGPT for that, guys.
True.
The only thing that remains in the age of AI, which is pure knowledge, by the way, is the human experience, the human story. That's the one thing that AI machines cannot replace. That's the reason why people will still continue to listen to your podcast when it's easier to just go to ChatGPT and ask a query, ask a question, get the answer right away. Why go through an hour, 2-hour conversation? Vibes, guys. It's vibes. We're vibrational creatures. That's literally where vibes comes from. That's timeless. Doesn't matter how much change is happening.
Thank you for bringing your amazing vibes.
Thank you, Sasha, for having me on this show. This was awesome. I just wanted to have a conversation with you.
Me too.
It was awesome. Yeah.
It's like, let's get in here and see what happens. Let's set up the equipment and just sit down and do what we do. Even when we're not filming, this is pretty much, this is how it goes with us.
That's how it goes,
So exactly. the only difference now is that this was recorded and we
capture lightning in a bottle.
We did.
That's what it is.
I think our friendship is lightning in a bottle. Actually, I really do.
Yeah. And it happened just like lightning. You don't know where it strikes.
Should we tell the story really quick of how we met?
Oh yeah, sure.
You tell it. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was actually taking a walk with Nick, our friend, and then coming back from a hike. We're just gonna grab some lunch and stuff, and walking down the pathway of Casa, and then we see Sasha with a bunch of boxes coming out, and I think you also wrangled in Neil with our friend Neil, Third Eye Cacao, as well. And then before I knew it, I was like heading towards lunch, which is the opposite direction. And then before I knew it, we're like emptying out our friend Nara's like car SUV with all your boxes and stuff. And like you had like 4 guys, we had literally just met, and we're just like being in the same giant elevator with all your boxes going like, la-di-da. Well, just another Saturday, and now we're helping Sasha move, essentially.
Yeah, and we had just met, and you were like, and I was like, hey, I don't know. At that moment, it was so, I was in a flow state. When I got to Austin, or when I realized I'm going to open this clinic, I'm going to move in, all these things were happening. I was like, okay. And I really felt the life stream. I felt like I was just, it was
carrying, like it was going to carry me towards there, and then carried me towards your apartment.
Yes.
There you go. With all our boxes in tow.
Yeah. And from the very beginning, it's funny that we're concluding the episode with going back to the beginning.
It's all a full circle.
Because it's a full circle, and how things begin, and the energy and the intention and the frequency and vibration of how we first met has really colored and nurtured. I feel like it's like, it was like this beautiful, again, it was like lightning in a bottle meeting, because I was walking out at the same time you were like there was like a vortex of running into each other.
Exactly.
And then, just helping.
And deciding to, pour energy into it, because just like any plant and everything, it
does require
you show up. So also, I appreciate you giving me grace too, because there's part of me which is a mountain hermit, a forest hermit, and for every ounce of expansion that I do, I like contract underground as well, and sometimes I disappear off the face of the earth for a hot minute, and then and this is where I so appreciate again just our friendship and the space that you have allowed us to grow into also.
I love you, Sheng. Thank you so much for being you.
Love you too,
Happy
Sasha.
birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. This was so fun. Yeah. Perfect way for Saturday morning, honestly.
Right?
It was great.
Who needs breakfast? This is our breakfast.
Yeah. Coffee
breakfast of champions, baby.
This exactly. We eat podcasts for breakfast. That's what we do.
Breakfast for devoted champions.
Yo. Yep. Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, you were holding on to the book the whole time. I was like, I love it. It's your spoon, your new spoon. Yeah.
Before you go, if you're ready to dive deeper into your healing, check the show notes to book a 45-minute exploratory call with me. If you mention you're a subscriber of the podcast, you'll get 50% off your initial intake consultation. A 2-hour deep dive, normally $400, now just $200. You'll also find exclusive 20% discounts on trusted Ayurvedic herbs from Kerala Ayurveda and Gary & Son. Just click the links to apply the savings automatically. Ojas Oasis is a labor of love, a podcast born from a deep desire to share the timeless wisdom of Ayurveda, Vedic ritual, and holistic healing with seekers around the world. Every episode is carefully crafted to bring you inspiring conversations, ancient insights, and practical tools for living a radiant, balanced life. If the show has nourished your spirit, helped you feel more seen, or guided you on your healing path, you can now support our work by buying us a coffee or golden milk. Your support goes directly toward producing high-quality episodes, keeping the podcast ad-light and mission-focused, expanding our offerings to serve you even more deeply, and whether it's a one-time cup or a monthly offering, we are so grateful. Click the link in the show notes to support the podcast and keep the wisdom flowing.